Yemen, 2019. Night 247. Lieutenant Cara Wyn was protecting 30 civilians huddled behind a burning convoy while taking fire from 4 directions. Her M4 rifle was down to its last magazine. The support team was 15 minutes away, and Taliban fighters were closing in every second. "Female soldier shouldn't be here," the local ally shouted, panicking. Cara answered with a cold smile. "Good thing I am, then." Just then, the first RPG whistled through the air. 5 years later, present day, when the gavel struck, the military courtroom echoed. Lieutenant Cara Wyn sat alone at the defense table. Her uniform had been stripped of all badges. Her medals had been declared fake. Her honor dragged through the mud. The prosecutor, Major Hale, stood with a triumphant smile. "Your Honor, this is a simple case. The defendant claims to have served in special operations, but her file shows she was only a logistics specialist. She says she fought in Yemen, but female soldiers cannot participate in those operations. She wears the Silver Star, but it's just a replica that can be bought online for $50. The courtroom murmured. Some nodded. Others whispered fraud. Cara sat motionless. The white scars on her wrists carried a secret no one noticed. War wounds, radio cable burns, the price of surviving countless nights in foreign lands. "Lieutenant Wyn," said Colonel Davenport, the presiding judge, "what is your defense?" Cara raised her eyes. Her voice was calm, precise. "My service record speaks for itself." The gallery erupted in laughter, mocking, merciless. Just then, the door at the back of the room opened. Yemen, 5 years ago. During the operation, Cara crouched behind the burning convoy, making strategic calculations. 30 civilians, mostly women and children, were trying to escape an attack by Iranian-backed militias. "Bravo 6, this is Selkie 1, she whispered into her radio. 30 civilians under protection. Heavy fire. Need extraction now. Static, then. Selkie 1, nearest team is 15 minutes out. Hold your position. 15 minutes in Yemen was an eternity. When the first Taliban fighter emerged from the corner, Cara fired without breathing. One shot, one target. He dropped. The local translator stared in shock. "You? Where did you learn this?" "Doesn't matter where," Cara said, loading her second magazine. "What matters is getting these people out." The next 10 minutes were hell. Cara moved positions with perfect precision, neutralizing 8 enemy fighters. But ammunition was running out. When the last bullet was fired, helicopter sounds filled the air. The rescue team had arrived. "Selkie 1, are you really a woman?" the pilot asked in amazement during extraction. Cara didn't answer. She just looked at the 30 rescued civilians and smiled. Back to the courtroom. "And that's why Lieutenant Wyn could never have been in Yemen," Major Hale was shouting. But the back door had fully opened. 2 Secret Service agents entered, then a third man, older, determined, a presence that silenced the entire room. The President of the United States, Jonathan Reeves. Colonel Davenport jumped to his feet. "Mr. President, this—" "Colonel," Reeves interrupted, his voice calm but absolute. "Be seated." Davenport obeyed without hesitation. The president turned to Major Hale. "Explain this case to me." Hale swallowed. "Mr. President, the defendant is parading false service claims. She's wearing medals she never earned." "Enough," Reeves said. He pulled a velvet-covered case from his pocket and placed it on the judge's desk. Inside was a silver star, but not just any medal. It carried special engraving, a date, and a classified operation code. "This," Reeves said firmly, "is Lieutenant Wyn's medal. Awarded in a classified ceremony, attended only by myself, Admiral Taggart, and 2 men whose names will never appear in any record." The room froze in shock. "But, sir," Hale said desperately, "no woman has ever—" "Major Hale," Reeves spoke sharply. That statement is precisely why Lieutenant Wyn's service was classified. Years ago, acknowledging that women participated in special operations would have caused a political firestorm. That's why the program was kept secret. The president turned to the gallery. This woman served her country. She risked her life. She saved 30 civilians. And now, because of ignorance and arrogance, she's being accused of fraud. Cara still sat motionless, but for the first time her hands clenched into fists. "Colonel Davenport," Reeves said decisively, "this case is closed immediately." "But sir," Hale tried to protest. The president's eyes burned. "Major, if I hear you question her honor again, your career is over." Hale collapsed into his chair. The president turned to Cara. His voice softened. "Lieutenant, you've carried the burden this country asked you to bear with honor. I regret it came to this." Then he turned toward the door. The Secret Service agents immediately cleared the way. The courtroom remained frozen. No one spoke. No one moved. Cara allowed herself the faintest smile for the first time. After the trial, Cara was taken to a secure room. Admiral Laurel Taggart, Director of Naval Special Programs, sat across from her. "Lieutenant Wyn," Taggart said, "it's time for the truth." She placed a file on the table. Project Selkie, special compartmented. Inside were photos from Yemen. Cara in local clothes with an M4 rifle, protecting civilians. "This was never meant to see daylight," Taggart said. "But after the president revealed the medal, it can no longer be hidden." Cara's defense attorney, Lieutenant Quillen, was in shock. "Admiral, my client shows as just a logistics specialist, but you're showing me her rescuing civilians in Yemen. What kind of program was this?" Taggart took a deep breath. Officially, Lieutenant Cara Wyn served 4 years in logistics. In truth, she was part of a classified operational unit, not SAALS, Rangers, or Delta. Something different. "What?" Quillen asked. "Project Selkie. 16 women trained to go where men couldn't, to blend in, to operate silently, trained to SEAL standards, in some cases, higher." "Why keep it secret?" "Because the world wasn't ready," Taggart said bluntly. "Officially, no woman had ever passed BUDS. Officially, there were no women in Tier 1 special operations. Admitting otherwise would have led to political chaos, so the program was buried." That night, the president addressed the nation. "For too long, certain truths have remained hidden, out of fear, fear of politics, fear of tradition, fear of change. Today, that changes." Cara entered from the side door. She wore a civilian jacket, not a uniform, but her posture carried a discipline no civilian could possess. The room went completely silent. "This," the president continued, "is Lieutenant Cara Wyn. She and others like her served this nation in ways most of you will never know. They operated where official records said they couldn't. They fought in silence, saved lives in darkness, and carried burdens that history denied them." Gasps rose from the crowd. Cameras flashed. The president lifted a small case from the podium. Inside gleamed a newly minted silver star. "This medal was awarded to Lieutenant Wyn for extraordinary heroism during a classified operation in Yemen in 2019. Tonight, that award is no longer secret." He pinned it to her jacket. Cara took her first deep breath. Applause erupted, hesitant at first, then thunderous. When the noise subsided, Cara stepped forward. "I never asked for this," she began. Her voice was steady, carrying through every broadcast. "I never wanted the spotlight. My team and I served because it was necessary, because people needed us, not because anyone promised recognition." Her eyes swept the room. "This isn't about proving women belong in special operations. We prove that with every mission. This is about acknowledging the truth so that no one else who served in silence is ever called fraud." She paused, her gaze unwavering. "The real heroes are the ones who never came home. Tonight, remember their sacrifice, know their names, and, if you don't, know that they existed. They bled, they gave everything, and they deserve to be remembered." The room was silent again, not from disbelief, but from reverence. That night, headlines blazed. "The Secret Soldiers. President confirms classified female operators. From accused to honored, Lieutenant wins. Truth revealed. The medal they called fake was real." Across the country, veterans who had doubted her now sat in silence, reconsidering everything. And in a quiet apartment, far from the cameras, Cara placed the new silver star beside the old one, tarnished and bright, past and present. For the first time, she allowed herself to believe something she'd never dared. Her story mattered. Some heroes prefer to remain in shadows, but some truths are so powerful they can no longer be hidden. This is the story of when silence finally broke and truth found its freedom.